All right. This man needs no fucking introduction, at least to all the fucking ladies that tune into the You Never Know podcast. Colton, I appreciate you, bro. Thanks for coming, man.
Yes.
I'll be honest. I'm not a huge Bachelor guy. I think you could probably.
I wouldn't peg you for that.
You wouldn't peg me as that.
No.
I will say this. Once we got connected, I didn't know you had been. I didn't really know you had been a follower or a fan. Really, I don't think we connected previously, had we?
No.
Yeah,
but I grew up like I was telling you before. I grew up like a big fan of your music.
That's what's up.
That's what's 2014, especially like.
Yeah, that's right. When
closer,
more or less when it started. Yeah, closer.
Yeah. That helped me. Like I told you when I was texting you, I was like, that helped me through some shit.
Yeah.
So it was,
yeah.
It was really cool.
And I mean, I'll take the water. It's fine. My sister and mom are just fucking Bachelor 101.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if they're tuned in all the. I want it like for your season. They were like, Colton, I love that guy. Yeah. So shout out to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I once we got connected, I dove in. I was on the road. I think I was on the road, and like Bachelor was on, and I was like, oh, that's my guy. I ended up. I'll be honest. I watched fucking 3 episodes
What'd you
back
think?
to back to back.
Be honest.
It was fucking entertaining.
Yeah.
And you're good. You're good. You're
Yeah.
fucking like you're easy to watch, and it was like because I've seen some in the past. I'm like, this guy's a fucking curveball. You know what I mean? Like, or it's just like I get it. It's pretty manufactured. You don't have to tell me. I'll say it for you. As far as like,
Right.
I know how production of these types of things can go and how things can, be, it's very easy to lose your own identity within it because you're being told all these things and these directions
Right.
and this has to happen. It's show business, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, it's very, very easy to lose your own footing as who you are. And like, but it was pretty obvious you were staying to who you are,
Yeah, I think like the cool thing for me was like the show helped me find myself. And I like in a backwards way is like, yes, you're on display, and yes, like I was media trained. Like with as athletes, like when a reporter came and you didn't want to give the whole game plan away, but you wanted to like hit and tease, and everybody has an ego, so you want to let a little bit of that out too. But so for me, like I was like trying to find that fine balance, but also like for me, it let me sit back and be like, all right, so who am I? Like for the first time now, I don't have football as my safety net, so I can't just say, hey, I'm a football player, because I'm not a football player anymore. So it was like a cool
choir, baby.
Dude, it was like, honestly, it was like it was much needed, because I was in like a bad place leading up to like even going and filming the first show.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate?
Yeah. So like I played on practice squads, right? So I was spinning my wheels.
Right.
But what I was telling you is your album came out in 2014. Around the same time that I got cut from the Chargers. And
so just to give them a little preface,
yeah,
you grew up in Illinois.
I grew up in Illinois.
You went on to play
college ball at Illinois State, so FCS,
and played well.
Yeah. I was All-American for 2 years, junior and senior year, and then I went undrafted. D end. Yeah. Ended up hurting my knee my senior year and playing through it, because it was my senior year. I'm not about to sit that out, so I played on a torn LCL the whole season.
So no one thought that you should maybe redshirt, given how fucking good you were too. Like
it just wasn't. No, that wasn't in the play. I didn't even redshirt, so I played as a true freshman. So like that's why I signed with them, because I had early playing time. I was like, I can actually play for 4 years.
Honestly, very similarly why I went to Duke.
Yeah.
I was looking at UNC, who was a better program.
Yeah.
And a few other like SEC schools. Plus, I wanted to go to a good school. Which Duke was definitely a better academic school, but Duke was in one place where like, yo, you could play. And then I ended up having that All-American year, freshman year, which was the only year I was ever healthy. So if you think about it, if I'd gone anywhere else before I even got real time, I would have blew my arm out. You know what I mean? So like I really wouldn't even have got that off. And then who's to say I would have even became all this? Right. I think the All-American baseball shit is really what helped me even get Mike Stead. So that's why people cared. You know what I mean? Like it was it was an interesting thing. Right. Right. Anyways, so you get injured your senior year.
Yeah, so I get injured my senior year. I went undrafted to the Chargers, and like I finally got there, right?
Now, do you think, not to cut you off, do you think if you weren't injured, it would have been more like you would have definitely been drafted, or you?
I had people tell me to go out after my junior year, but from an FCS, like we're still D1, but we were the AA.
Right.
It's not very rare for a junior to like declare for the draft. So I had people telling me, hey, you need to declare. I was like, man, I love my university and I love my teammates. I want to play. Like it's my senior year. So I played and so my D tackle got kicked off the team. We ended up losing the other All-American D end. So it was like me with a scratch line. So like I was getting
that
double.
impacts
I was getting double and triple teamed every game. So like I didn't have my boy next to me. So like I lost my All-American D tackle. That was like that. And I'll be the first to admit I'm not the most athletically gifted, but I'm a tryhard.
Right.
But like I knew what made me good, and like losing him, and he's with the Broncos right now. Like he's going on year 6 in the league, and he even plays near Shelby Harris. So like he made me good. And I knew that, but like, so losing him sort of sucked.
Isn't it interesting how the circumstances can dictate your entire life? Now, if you look back at that, like say that didn't happen, say he didn't leave, you have an amazing year, you know, you end up in the NFL, but like, who's to say, like, what I'm saying is all this crazy shit that you probably never thought would ever happen in your lifetime, in the realm of your reality, now goes on to happen all because of something negative.
Yep.
You know, very negative. Like when you get injured and the circumstances go the other way than what you want. You know, like obviously I dealt with the same thing. I was just like, all of a sudden I couldn't fucking pitch the same. It just happens, you know?
Yep.
But looking back on it, I'm so fucking thankful.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at with you is like, I mean, I think you're going to go on and do amazing fucking things in entertainment and everything you want to do now. But like the fact that you went on and got onto this, it's like kind of what this whole podcast has been talking about. You never know, is like everything that's happening, even when you're in the trenches with it and you're like, why the fuck did this happen? This sucks. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you can allow your perspective to be open-minded and be like, you know what, everything's happening for me. You know, like at some point, God or whatever you believe in, the universe will then reveal its reasoning if you just have the right intentions and you have the right path and you keep the right mind frame and you stay positive. You know? That's kind of my point. Like it's now, do you see it that way?
Now I do. I didn't back then. And I don't think, I mean, it's always like hindsight 2020, but like I remember the draft day and my boy, like I said, didn't play senior year and he got drafted in the 7th. And I remember like seeing his name come across the screen and I was pissed. And like for me, now I'm looking, I'm like, that's not me. Like I should have been the first one to text that boy. But I like looked at my dad because I had my family over and everything, and I was like, this man didn't even play his senior year, and I gave it my all. I could have left my junior year. So it's like for me, I'm like it was kicking me when I was down. I was like, this is fucked up.
So interesting you said that though, because I remember feeling the same. I had that All-American year freshman year, and then all like my classmates were very good too. Like I was the only All-American that year. Yeah. But I never really got healthy again. I had a bunch of, the Tommy John, but like a few of those, like 3 or 4 of that same class, like all my best friends, junior year, they're heading off to the draft. And like I remember thinking, I was always very, very positive and supportive, but like deep down, like I was salty. That should be me.
Dude, I was so salty.
And that's not the right reaction. And you know that in hindsight. It's just not, because it just doesn't breed the right trajectory going forward. No. You can't have, there's enough for everybody, like I see a lot of the things you post on social media and stuff, but I wanted to get into that too, a little bit of your faith and like where that, how that's guided you through it. But let's keep going with you now.
So like Spark Note version of whatever happened is I get to the league, and I had preferred undrafted free agent. So I get there, I had like a little signing bonus, and we had like the rookie mini camp, the training camp. I played pretty well, but I still got cut. And then I went to the Eagles for 2 weeks when Chip Kelly was there. Played decent, but then you know how the roster shift is. We had 2 O-linemen go down, and that somehow affects the D-end on the practice squad. So I got bumped. Chargers signed me 2 weeks later, but it was an up and down. They signed you back. They signed me back.
Interesting.
So like it was an up and down year. And going back to what we initially were talking about, is like that's where like your music came in, because it's like I finally got to accomplish my dream, but it's not what I dreamed it to be. And like I'm struggling internally of like, all right, so how long do I try this? Because like I'm not happy playing football, but I'm making money. I've been independent. I've been very independent on my own since I was 18.
There's something about knowing how much time you just put in your entire life.
Dude, I'm a square. Like even in college, I didn't go out. I slept through my own house parties. Because like it was football. I didn't have time for anything else. Like I didn't have time for girls. I had my friends. But they were all on the team. So like I didn't go out.
Just living in that
I went to
bubble
class, bro. I went to class to make sure my grades were good enough to play. And then I went home. I spent time with my family and my friends, because my dad was my dad was always my coach growing up. So he was always there for me. And then my friends. So like I did nothing else. So all I did was dedicate my entire life was dedicated to football. So, and for me to get there, and now I'm like looking around, I'm like, all right, goes back to the ego thing, because everybody, if you're an athlete, you have one.
Oh yeah.
Because when I stepped on,
it's part of what makes you great.
when I stepped on the field, I'm telling myself I'm the best player.
Right.
When I know that shit's not true, but I'm still telling myself that.
Power of the mind, baby.
Yeah. So like I get there and I'm like, I'm still better than this dude who got drafted in the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
But management's not going to cut a 5th round pick and show their fan base that like, hey, we don't know what we're doing in the draft.
Too,
you know how that is. So like, and then I'm getting more pissed because I'm like, this is a business now. Like this isn't fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went back my senior year and played, when I know it's two different things, as college versus pro, but like now this is a game that I grew up as a kid loving and like playing because I loved it. I don't love it anymore.
We talked about this in one of the earliest episodes, and I've since then I've even found so much more joy in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it's really like one of those things where you realize like you're doing what you're meant to be doing. You know what I mean? And it's just the biggest thing is like the purest form of that is when you're just doing it for the joy of it because you enjoy it so much. And it really isn't. It's not attainable when you get to a certain level. Like it becomes bigger and becomes more. You know, like John was like, yeah, like when I made music just for myself in my dorm room, like.
Yeah,
that was the purest form of it. Like you're literally doing it for no other reason. Right. Your intuition's like, yo, go in there and make music and have fun.
Yep.
It has no impact on the rest of your life or your ego or anything. You know.
Right.
And it's just kind of the harsh reality of like, you know, the childhood dream that evolves into the manhood dream and the manhood career. But it's as you get there and if you actually get to that level, it's not what it once was, and it can't be. But it's. Really, I think the guys that have the most amazing success with it, they can simple it back down to like, yo, I just love this game. Like, forget it, you know, like, and that's challenging, you know. And I think that's why I talk about mentality so much in this, because I think there's so many talented people. There's probably a lot more people that make better music than I do, you know.
Yeah.
But it's about the full package. It's about understanding and being able to evolve as things get hard.
Yeah.
And evolve in the right direction versus, you know, being impacted by all the distractions. As distractions, just you know more than anyone. You're dealing with it right now more than anything. Dude. Like it's just once you get your foot in the door, man.
Right. And I struggled with that too. Not to get too far off track, but you said it in one of your last podcasts.
Yeah.
You said, you know, as an athlete, I had a schedule. Every day I woke up at 5:30 in the morning and was training by 6.
Right.
And like I was literally pounding pavement every day. I was going to class. I had this. And like if I didn't do that, I felt like a piece of shit.
Right.
So like now I'm waking up and I'm probably making more money than I've ever made in my life, but I have no fulfillment. I'm like posting stuff on Instagram. I'm making appearances here. I'm like shaking hands with some cool people, but I have no fulfillment.
Right.
And I have no schedule. So like I'm sort of just scattered, and I don't like it's been a battle of like finding what's like
it's an adjustment, you know, and that's normal though. Like I you know, we have obviously very different paths but very similar in some ways too.
Right.
And it's just about like it's just the fact that this is in the front of your awareness.
Yeah.
Means you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's the guys who don't realize it.
Yep.
You know, that end up just like, they turn around and they're like, where am I? Yeah. Like, I don't even know what path I'm on, you know? And I'm sure that there's days I felt like that even still. I mean, a lot less now because I'm older than you and probably I've had a lot more time in the entertainment world, as much as your shit's a lot more mainstream. You're dealing with mainstream shit big network, mainstream shit that I've never dealt with, you know? So there's obviously differences.
Yep.
But anyways, let's continue with where you were now. So you're saying 2014.
So 2014, I'm getting cut, signed back to the practice squad. 2015, I get re-signed to a futures deal. So it's a 1-year extension. Basically, practice squad players get future deals. And then I played in 4 preseason games, played really, really well. And then the last game with the 49ers, I was the only Sam linebacker that they had. So I had to play the whole game and all special teams. And I ended up tearing my hamstring. So I tore my hamstring, went on IR for 8 weeks, and then got cut again. And then I come back, I signed with the Raiders. And
I didn't realize you had this many stints. Like,
I had a lot of opportunities. I just couldn't stay healthy. Right. It got to that point then. So then with the Raiders, this is messed up. I haven't actually talked about this with anybody, but so when I was with the Raiders, I initially signed at the end of the 2016 season with them to be practice squad outside linebacker.
Right.
So I get there and we play the Chargers at the end of the season, and Phillip Rivers goes to our coach and says, "Hey, have you tried Colton at tight end yet?" Like, he was on our practice squad. He doubled. Like,
I thought that's what you were.
Yeah. So
you look like a tight end.
So like then that next week, and it was 1 week left in the season, the Raiders are like, "We'll try him at tight end." So I played at tight end, and like I wasn't comfortable at it, but I still did my best.
Right.
So then fast forward to the next year, they didn't even tell me. I trained all offseason. I paid my trainer and everybody to train me as outside linebacker. I show up and load my iPad.
Tight end.
Bro, I got offense on my iPad. So like, I'm sitting in the D coordinator room and like, I was like, hey, like I don't have the defense playbook. They're like, nobody talked to you? It's like nobody called me the whole offseason to let me know that I switched positions. So like,
wow.
So like you talk about an adjustment. You're at the highest level. You're going arguably, and I'll say this too, tight end might be one of the hardest positions because you have to block, you have to run, like you have so many different, and especially the one that I was the F back, the motion fullback hybrid tight end.
Yeah.
So
knowing the formation,
dude,
is like,
yeah. So anyway, I didn't do too well, but I picked up on it. I tried my best. I was never the smartest, but I always worked hard. So I tried, and then first day of pads, I went out on a flat route and just got crushed. I honestly thought my back was broken. Dude, it was like one of those things. I threw my helmet down. I went straight to the locker room. Like I knew something was bad.
Right.
And I ended up tearing core clavicular ligament, fracturing my osteochromial. Wow. Like my whole shoulder was junked, and it was bad. So I was done. And I went through some legal stuff with the Raiders just to like clean stuff up. Went to the NFLPA. Sort of was just like, I'm done. I'm out. And I was sort of lost, you know?
Yeah, I can understand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy if you just listening outside, looking in, I never heard any of that. I mean, I believe in like, I just believe, when we just talked about like, and I hadn't believed this up till now really, but like, it's just like God or the universe or anything. It's just like, as you keep challenging and you keep showing up, but like you're kind of getting trolled. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even just the thing with the offense, like in defense, like, that's just like things that shouldn't happen at that level. You'd never think that like the player showing up doesn't know, but it's like pointing, like, it's like life pointing you, like, nah.
But it's also a pride thing because I remember I was so embarrassed that even happened that I didn't tell anybody. Because I'm like, you know what I mean? Like,
I would have told everyone, be like, listen, guys, I don't know any of the fucking formations.
No. I'm not talking about the players. Obviously the team knew, like, because I was sort of internally pissed, but I didn't I remember not even telling my dad because I was like, because I didn't want to be like, yo, dad, I went to the D coordinator room and like they didn't even have the decency or the respect. Because I was like, hey man, I'm switching to tight end. Like, yeah, I talked to the coach and it's like we felt like it's the best decision.
I've been there.
Dude, I was embarrassed. I was like, I'm not about to like tell everybody. Like, I just literally got humiliated in front of the team. So like I told all my friends, I was like, yeah, man, we just decided it was best.
It's so interesting you bring that up because I don't think I've ever talked about that or I even thought about that until someone just said that. But but I had, so when I came back from my injury, I just wasn't as good. Yeah. And like I had residual like elbow pain, but I'm talking about after. Now when I went on to my senior year, and this is now, I only played freshman year. That was the only year I had. Yeah. Sophomore year, I start to pitch, my elbow starts hurting. They're like, yo, it's not completely torn, so we should rehab, because sophomore year in baseball it doesn't matter. Junior year is your draft year. Yeah. Sophomore year, like, doesn't even matter. Like, if I was eligible freshman year, I would have left, but you're not eligible till after your third season. Yep. So we're like, all right, fuck it. Like, we'll rehab. I'll focus on school. Junior year's the year anyway. Yep. Rehab the whole sophomore year. Go on to pitch in the Cape Cod League in the summer. Going into my junior year, we're going to take it very slow, rehab. All of a sudden, boom, it had tear it. Yeah. Torn completely. So now I just missed sophomore year and rehabbed, tear it going into junior year, miss all of junior year and then some of senior. So like in the blink of an eye, really it felt like it was just like I had everything. I was perfectly healthy, never had an injury. Freshman year went perfectly and then never really got on the mound again, felt the same ever again. So my point is senior year, and then I graduated from Duke and I go to Georgetown grad, but I still have like 2 years of eligibility. So I'm like, I'm just going to get this figured out. Like my arm's going to start working itself out, like just didn't happen, like I was throwing and my point of bringing this up is like, it'd be hard for me to like communicate it to my parents. Cause like, they just always come to the games. I always,
because you used to be in the man.
Yeah, I always balled. Really, like I never failed. Like as much as even when it looked like I would, so it was like the first time where I was just like kind of didn't really know what to tell them, and they'd come see it, and then like just like you brought that up, and it struck that chord because there was an ego there. Like it's more about like caring about what they think so much too, and not trying to worry them and that type of shit too. Yep. Like I'm gonna figure this out, you know. But it's crazy. It's crazy you bring that
dude,
up.
And it's nuts because that happened, and then what's even crazier about all of this is, so I had met with my therapist. Like I said, I was sort of like at a point with football where I just wasn't happy playing. Right, so I went and I met with a therapist because I saw like this billboard or this bulletin board outside the locker room one day saying, you know, with the NFLPA, they pay for your therapy. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go talk to a therapist because like something's like, I'm just not right now. So I went and talked to her and I was like, I just want to be done. Like, but my parents told me once you start something, you never quit it. And like, I've never quit anything in my life. Right. So I was like, what do I do? Right. And she's like, just give us some time. Like and the week later, blew my shoulder out. So I was like, that's for me. I was like, that's God telling me, hey, here you go. I'm going to do it for you. Like, you're good. I got your back. So, I
mean, dude, to be honest, bro, I said it to my fucking athlete friends, and they probably won't say it on the microphone, but there's just fucking more to life than sports. 100%. And you get older, bro, and you like, dude, like, if I didn't get injured and I was a superstar in the big leagues, I don't think I still would take this life. Yeah. Meaning, like, yes, things have gone great, you know, but like just the experiences I've had. Yep. You know, just shit. Like I know these dudes, and like they're doing amazing in their own, you know, in their sport and in their life. Yeah. But there's just so much fucking more, and the fans don't get it. And you know, like obviously the organization, it's just a fucking business. Yeah. So they don't get it. Yep. But you're human beings. Right. It's not about you want to spend your entire fucking prime of your life running around in a grass field, fucking running into other big guys trying to kill you. Like, simple it down. Do I want to sit on a fucking grass field in tight pants and fucking throw a baseball, try to throw it by a guy with a stick my entire life on this fucking planet? No. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and that's, once you arrive at that, it gives you so much, I guess, that like relief of like, fuck, I didn't finish that job. Because that's how I felt. Yeah. I didn't finish the job. Like you said, like I don't quit shit, you know? And your parents don't want you to quit. And my parents, like, I have the best fucking relationship I could with my parents, and they're amazing, you know? But it's not about your parents. It's not about anybody else. You are you. You're completely separate of your parents, especially as you become an adult. Yep. And it's no longer about them. They'll be happy. They'll be most proud of you if you achieve happiness. Yep. They won't be proud. Like, yeah, you know, like, and for parents, it's the best feeling watching their kids go achieve their dreams. But like, if at some point in the road you pivot and it's not the dream anymore and it doesn't feel like that to their kids, they'd prefer that you fucking leave and go try to be happy. Yeah. You know, so like,
dude, my dad loves this entertainment shit. Like,
I'm sure he does. My dad does too. Yeah, and he probably never thought he would have. You know?
No, like, and he would be the last one that I would ever peg to like love this.
It's very weird how similar we probably have. Yeah, just lifestyle, because my parents were the same. Like, they had no idea, like, music, like, you know, like, we're just small town, like, regular motherfuckers, you know? And sports, like, no one, when we were growing up, like, no one was like, hey, man, I'm singing and make it, like, no one was doing that. Like, everyone was either an athlete or you're doing some bad shit or whatever, but it wasn't, like, cool, you know? So, like, my point is, now my parents are, like, so entertained by what I do, almost more so. Yeah. And you probably feel the same, even though it's like, they just like to see you compete and shine and do, you know, do the things you do, you know? So it's interesting to see that and arrive at that. I'm sure you've arrived at that just watching your parents, like.
Dude, yeah, it's been awesome. It's helped my relationship with my dad too. And I talked about that a little bit on the show, and they aired it, was I always had like a player-coach relationship with my dad, because he was always my coach. So it was more of like, even when I got home, I'm sitting at dinner and he's like, yo, you remember when you missed that tackle on like the 8th drive? And I'm like, bro, like, I was like, crazy. We're eating dinner. Can we talk about like life? You know, so more, it was one of those, but it helped, because then I show up at his house and to watch the show, and I'm like, hey, just want to give you a heads up, like, I cried in this episode. And he goes, what do you mean? Like, it was like, he's like, when you told me you cried, like, I didn't know you cried like that. And I'm like, yeah. So like, now he's like watching a different me, you know, because like, and I'm watching a different me, because I'm like, I broke down on the second show I did, Paradise. I broke down completely.
Did you?
Because the first show I did, I went on Bachelorette, and I knew what I was doing. Right. There was cameras around. Right. I was gonna say the right things, do the right things. Right. But then I realized, like, all right, half this shit ain't me. Right. Like, why am I going along with this show if Like that's not me. And it was nobody's fault but my own.
Right.
Like the producers could do and say what they wanted to do.
Right.
But it was the stuff coming out of my mouth.
Right.
Like they can't force me to say stuff.
Exactly.
So then finally in Paradise, I finally broke down, and I remember warning my dad before that episode hit. And he's like, I didn't know you cried like that. And I was like, dude, this has been a crazy year.
Yeah.
So
he probably was like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, it was nuts.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
So now, obviously you just touched on a little bit, but you get out of
I get
out of football.
I get out of football.
How quick is the Bachelorette?
So I get out of football, and I fell in love for the first time. So I get out of football and I started dating Allie.
Yeah.
So
what's her last name?
Boston, Raisman.
Raisman.
So I spent some time in Boston.
There you go.
So like
how did you get linked with her?
So one of my teammates, Andrew East, is married to Sean Johnson, the other Olympic gymnast. Yeah. So they linked us up. We hit it off, dude. I've never hit it off with somebody like her, and I've always been so focused on football. I didn't have an excuse this time.
Right.
So I was like screw it, let's do this.
Yeah.
Dude, just fell completely in love. Was great. We had 7-8 months together.
Right.
Came out public. It was like cool, right? I was like, okay, this is sort of cool. Like she was awesome, like down to earth. I was there for her. She was there for me. I was dealing with my injury. She was going through some stuff too.
So how did you land in? So you guys got linked.
Yep.
You're back in Illinois, and then you're like, fuck it, I'm coming to Boston.
I was back in Denver. So because in the off season in the NFL, I trained in Denver. So I ended up getting a spot. I got a condo out in Denver.
Dope spot.
Yeah. So I ended up
Denver.
getting a place out there. And then. So when I was dating her, I was flying back and forth. She was coming out and hanging with my family. I was going out there hanging with hers, and
she's just training and shit, right?
She was done. They just won gold, so they were just getting done, and she was going on like a little tour. Yeah, so it was like That's why I was saying like it was fun, like it was at an awesome point of her life.
Kind of eased you into probably what was next.
Correct, in a weird way, and it was just one of those things. And then she ended up breaking up with me, and when I tell you, bro. I didn't leave. I moved back in. So long story short, I moved back in with my dad. I wouldn't leave his.
To Illinois or Denver?
In Denver. I didn't leave his basement for like days. Like I would just be down there. So like my family saw how hard that hit me, and like finally I was like, all right, I got to get out of this. I don't have football anymore.
Right.
I don't have my girl. I just graduated college.
What year is this?
This is 2017. So then I was like, screw this. Like, something's going to change. It's like this, and this is, I'll touch on my faith a little bit too, but another sign from God. I had obviously known of the Bachelor franchise.
Right.
And I'd watched some of it. And then I'm walking down. My brother had just moved to downtown Denver. So I'm like walking downtown Denver, 16th Street Mall. And there's an open casting call for Bachelorette.
That's crazy.
Or for Bachelor. So it's a bunch of girls. Like just lined out this door, right? So like I like walk in and I'm like yeah. So bro, so I like walk in and I'm like, I was like, I don't know if like guys can come to these or not. And like before you knew it, I was in front of a camera. Like they brought me up. They like skipped the line. Like we got the guy. Get him up, dude. So like I'm doing all the things to go through the process of it, and it was like I was like, all right, whatever. I forgot about it for like 3 months, and I just continued to sort of be in a weird low place in my life. And finally, like one of the casting directors called and he said, she called and she's like, hey, you're on the show. Like we leave in 2 weeks to start filming. Let's go.
How fire,
like, dude. But like when I said like the show and this filmed, I did back to back to back. So all of last year I was on TV. Like I was filming shows.
And this is for people that don't know, this is fucking tedious shit.
Dude, but here's why I liked it. It finally gave me structure back in my life.
There you go.
I finally had to wake up at 9:30 every morning to work out before we started really rolling and getting into the day of the show. And then we had whatever dates we had to go on.
Right.
But like, and then it was cool. And then we had press after, like
so you kind of felt like you were back in the flow.
I finally had something to, in a weird way, I had something to live for.
Right.
And then we did the shows, and I continued to really, and that was like one thing the producers always did a good job is like they pushed me to find myself. They're like, so then who are you? Cause like so many people like I used.
Are you talking about the Bachelorette, the first season?
Yeah, like Bachelorette, and then even on Paradise, they were still asking me that, and that's the only reason I think I got even to be the Bachelor is because like they saw me grow over time. They saw where I started at, and like I would sit here and be like, I'm Colton. I'm like I've talked like a fucking robot.
Right.
I was like I want to say the right things. I want to be politically correct. I want to do this. I want to do that.
Right.
And like now, yeah, I still have some like I still know what's going on, but I'm undeniably myself.
Yeah.
So
that's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah. So like, and even you asked me when I first walked in, he's like, you're not much of a partier.
Yeah.
I used to fake it. Like if you would have asked me that like 4 years ago, I'd been like, yeah, man, I party. Like, and I would have came here and just been awkward as hell. Like if like you guys had a house party, but like now I'm like
sicko that comes here and he's like, give me a fucking beer or whiskey.
Yeah,
now.
but like now I'm like, yeah, I don't party too much. I was like, I'll chill. Like let's go hang.
I need a fucking beer. On that note,
but yeah, you get to know yourself better.
Yeah.
That's what this last year has been.
That's really cool.
It's been crazy.
That's really fucking cool. I want to get back. I don't want to let you jump past the hard parts.
Yeah.
What was when? So you break up with her. How long are you? I think you touched on it, but how long before you start moving around again? And like, I guess you were kind of cruising at a low altitude until the Bachelorette gives you a call.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
now,
remember
what the fuck was it? I guess just I want to know a little bit more. Like, elaborate a little bit more. I guess what in your headspace were you like? Is that where you gravitated to faith the most at that time, or was it impossible to even do it?
I wasn't even going to church. I wasn't doing daily readings. I wasn't doing any of that. And
Thank you, sir.
What happened? What happened was with the Raiders. There you go. What happened was with the Raiders.
Yeah.
They ended up cutting me and clearing me because they misdiagnosed my shoulder. And I paid for surgery out of pocket, so I was going broke.
Fuck.
So I literally was I was going broke. I didn't have my own place. I moved back in with my dad.
Bottom
so I'm literally hitting rock bottom as I was falling in love. I was flying off to Boston every other week and I was living this lifestyle. I bought myself a nice sports car when I signed my practice squad deal with the Chargers. Right. I ended up having to sell that. So I'm literally going broke, and then she breaks up with me. And bro, I lost it. Yeah. I was like, man, I haven't been dependent on my family since I was 18. Right. And like now I'm finally almost got to a point where I literally had to look at my dad, be like, hey, can I borrow some money? Yeah. And I've never done that.
Crazy.
But
man, that's when you find out. That's
my back was against the wall. And then finally, this the settlement with the Raiders happened. So I went and got my own condo before I left for filming, because I was like, I'm not gonna let these dudes come back and be like, where do you live? And I'm not gonna be in my dad's basement. Right. So I went and got a place out in Denver, got all that situated, and then went out and did it. But that I think the crushing point was losing her with all of that, because she was my support. I went from no football to her to having her by my and I wasn't looking for a relationship. Right. I fell into it, and I fell hard.
Preaching to the choir, my guy.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I can't. So the similarities, obviously, I went probably about in the last year is really where I went. I'd say. Came out on the positive side of it about 6 to 8 months ago, but we had a very public relationship and a private breakup, and then kind of had to be, because I went on tour and there's girls around, it kind of had to be announced, but it was before that, know, but my life was going great outside of that, and I know how shitty I felt. So to give it up, to put it into perspective, where you kind of felt like every single thing that mattered to you didn't have anymore. Yeah. I can't even fucking imagine, but I get it. It's crazy going through a breakup, bro. I never really was in love ever in my whole life. Yeah. Very, very similarly to how you felt. I don't have time for this shit. Yeah. I have these plans and I'm going to do them, and I don't want to let something take me away from those plans, but when you go through it, it's crazy. It's such a crazy feeling, but then on the other side, I feel like you're so humbled. I'm so humbled by the experience, because I'm just I get it. These motherfuckers with bad attitudes or yelling, road rage, or doing all this shit. They're sad and they're depressed. Who knows what the fuck they went through? It gives you perspective on that, because I hadn't really, 100%. Even I got a really lucky break with my first hardship. I had a very serious hardship, with the injury. Mm-hmm. My whole life changed in a blink of an eye. Yep. And, you know, I think my blind optimism kind of more or less, I wasn't even really thinking about it. So I can't take credit for it. Like I made the choice to stay optimistic. I just kind of was.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I was rewarded with this. That's a big part of it. But my point is it transitioned so quick. I didn't really have time to even think about it or digest it. It was like, oh, the next thing I was off and running, and we just fucking did it. I mean, albeit small, to us, it didn't feel small. It was like, this is insane. You know, we just started, like, I never thought I'd have fans and people, you know, so we started going, and it just never really had time. Yeah. So then I come to LA, we're like, yo, we're going to fucking kill it in LA. Like, first few, like, got a house around Sunset, we're partying, girls, and then I'd stumble into her. Never thought I'd have a fucking, like, this is the last place I wanted to have a girlfriend, you know? I just got out here immediately. You know, so it just, my point is going through you on another scale, because so much of what you loved have been lost. Yeah. Just on a smaller scale, like, just, I get it. Now I get it, because I never really got it. Like, I didn't get dudes who are like, oh my God, I can't live without, you know, like, you get it. You feel it. Like, even if I never felt that, like, I knew I would get through it. But you see and you feel how heavy it makes you. Yep. You know, and it really opens your perspective. It's made me a kinder person, because I'm just like, I get it. You know, there's so many hard things and hardships.
It made me more accepting too. Like, that was one thing I learned, like, the hard way too, is like, I tried to put myself in her position. I mean, like, okay, like, maybe I was like, let me just try to look through her lens in this. And like, maybe I was too much. Maybe it was this. I was like, all right, like, let's just, like, I'm gonna let it cool off for a little bit. Right. And then that's sort of what led to me going on the show. But then I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna do this, but I was like, let's do this. And I didn't want to date anymore after her. What made me do it was the Bachelorette forced me to date.
How interesting.
Because it was a TV show, and like I couldn't back out. And it's so, like, this really, is forcing me to date.
It's really interesting, because it's not how you would think. Right. You know what I mean? But if you hear the whole circumstances, you're like, yeah, the dude is back against the fucking wall, and this was like an opportunity. It came, it landed on your fucking lap. You walked by the fucking casting. That's nuts.
Yes. And then I forgot about it. And then, like, when they called, I remember, nuts. Dude, I remember, like, literally my stomach dropped, because I was like, there's no backing out now. I was like, hold on, I just committed to this. Like, I'm doing this. It wasn't even that. It's like, oh man, I'm dating a girl again. And like, granted, I'm dating her with a bunch of other dudes, but still, like, damn, I'm dating a dude. Or like, I'm dating a girl. Yeah, it's like, it's like, that's, I was like, oh, I'm already in it.
How funny.
So.
How funny.
Yeah.
And you made it deep into that show, didn't you?
Yeah, I finished 4th.
So did you love the chick, or can you say this?
Yeah. So here, I fell in, like, I ended up falling in love with Becca, but not, so here's my whole thing. Right. If you spend the time with someone like that on the show and you share this sort of bond, I fell in love with her of who she was. Mm-hmm. It's a much different love. Right. It wasn't like I can't live without her. Like with Cass, like I fell in love with Cass and I didn't want to lose her. Like that's what happened on that show. Is like I was like, I don't care. Like I look at all these girls like, yes, I could have some good life, like, but I don't want to go on with my life without you in it. Yeah. Like that's what it got to. It wasn't about that.
That's fucking beautiful, by the way. I hope she's listening. How early in the fucking process? Now, if I ever put you in a situation like
No, you're good. You're good.
How early in the process of the Bachelor now, where you're the main guy, were you like, oh, that's the one?
I've been open about this even with her. She was a slow burn. Like I had a couple right off the bat where I was like, oh, like I'm like really excited. Like, I mean, with Cass, it was always like, okay, like there's something more there. Right. Like, she always left me with more. Right. And it was always refreshing, because in the environment that show is, where it's a pressure cooker for relationships, she was always to be the one to be like, I'm here to take my time. And I'm like, good for you. Like, you have a mind of your own. Attractive, yeah. I'm like, I can trust you, because I know you're not just saying things to get to the next week. Mm-hmm. You know, because that was another thing for me. Dude, I started getting in my own head. I started getting paranoid. Mm-hmm. I mean, granted. So this is fucking real. More or less, like, I get it. So dude, we're talking off camera. Yeah. There's a lot of fucking fuckboy shit going on as far as entertainment, these big networks, and like, it's show business. Yes. You know? Which you know when you sign up. Like, you're aware of it. Yeah, I mean, anything you do, when you sign a contract, and you know the pros and cons of that contract.
Right, exactly. And once it's exactly. You make that person, it's like what you said earlier, like, they can't force you to say something. No. You know what I mean? But you know what you're stepping into. But I guess my question is, when you're week 3, week 4, and you start getting rid of some girls or whatever, I don't even know how it goes. Where has it become like, holy fuck, like, This is real. I have like real feelings. I'm in my own head about it. Like, it's not just like I'm having a blast here.
Yeah.
Like,
So for me, I started really getting to see Cass week 4 when we were in Singapore. And then, so we traveled around Asia. So we went Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, and then we ended up going back to Denver because one of our cities over in Asia fell through. So we ended up coming over to Denver. And I remember sitting in Denver and being like, okay, I got 6 girls with me. We're back in my hometown.
this is pretty awesome.
This is real. Like, but that's where it came real.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm like, all right, I got to make the most of these dates now.
Yeah.
Like I really got to make the most of this.
Yeah.
And I remember at that point, I was like really into Cass.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to keep an open mind until I couldn't anymore. So like, it was always, I'm going on this date until you prove that like you're stronger or you're better than me than Cassie is.
It's an interesting
so
dynamic.
Like, I used her to like compare, like that was my benchmark for every other one. I was like,
that's interesting.
Get there. If you can't, then like, see ya.
Yeah.
You know?
So there's like, how many situations where you're like, I just don't really fuck with this girl, like, but I'm not gonna like show her up on TV, and I'm not gonna, you know, like, you're a nice guy, you're not gonna, you know, but you're also kind of like acting in the sense of like, you know what I mean, like, like,
so here's what I always tell people, because then they're just like, well, why'd you keep that person? Okay, if I have to sit and have a conversation with somebody who I know probably I'm not going to be with, I want it to be entertaining. Like, let's have some fun. Like, right? Like, I would rather talk to somebody with a personality than play it safe than play it safe.
Yeah.
So like, everybody's like, why are you keeping that? Because there's like, obviously a couple girls who everybody's like, they're there for TV. I'm like, no, they're there to keep me sane throughout all this. So like, we could have some good conversations and shake things up.
So you had do you feel like the girls that fell into that category you're just talking about, did they know too that like?
But part of me thinks they did. I mean, they went on to do like their own thing, and like they weren't too heartbroken when I broke up with them. Like,
right.
You know, part of me thinks that they had a general understanding. Like, you know, the odds when you even sign up, you're one of 30.
Exactly.
So like, you know, the odds going into it. And I think like, yes, you try to protect yourself as much as possible, but when it gets into the late game, you can't.
So like, do you guys have conversation? Do you guys have the way it's set up? Are you like kicking it with these girls on the side?
No.
Not at all.
So we flew all on the same plane to Singapore, and they held me in the SUV and let me board last, and they all were in the back. I was in the front. So like, they keep us separate.
Fucking separate, like the bride and groom, baby.
Yeah. So like, that's how we traveled, and they like anything off camera. You can't talk off camera, because here's the thing: if something happened where they said something that I didn't like, and I was like, no. You as a viewer would be like, man,
you're out of
like,
the story.
Like, yeah, like you lose the story. So it's like, what went wrong?
So
there?
none of you fuckers just like hopped the fence and like went and made out somewhere?
No, I'm sure it's happened. I know it has happened. Right. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Because like, part of me,
you're like, I'm not fucking this up.
I got bad anxiety being with. So here is what I struggled with on the show. I had anxiety of being with all of them at the same time. Because every relationship for me was so different and so dynamic. So I'm like, all right, I got to sit here, and I'm like sitting on this couch. And I know my relationship with Cass is like cute and flirty. And then I know one with the girl to her left is like serious. I know one to the left is like sexy and this. And I'm like, I'm trying, like, I started being like, okay, then how do I act right now?
Yeah, it really is fucking crazy.
Because you know, I'm
very
sure
taxing.
when you're around your ex with your boys, and I'm not saying you changed as a person, but you're probably a little bit different,
for sure,
and or with around her girlfriends,
for sure.
Like, you're probably a little bit different.
I get rattled here. Like, we have people here all the fucking time, and I'm juggling. You know what I mean? I'm just fucking single and just letting it fly. You know what I mean? So even still, I have no allegiance. I have no rapport.
Yeah.
Outside of just this night or what we've been texting here and there or whatever, but like sometimes it lands, and just recently it's like 3 or 4 that I'm that I'm fucking with, and I'm like, I'm rattled. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even like, and I really don't even have to care. I'm not on fucking TV.
Right.
2, there's no real weight put on any of the relationships. And we both know that, but it's still like, my point is, it's fucking mentally taxing.
You're still with another human being.
There's a pressure. Yeah,
still
and I'm
a human being.
Like, I really don't like, as much as even before you followed me for a long time. So, we were racy and wild, but I was never like rude or disrespectful to girls ever. Right. I would, I never led them on a path like, hey, we're going to be something, you know what I mean? So
they got it.
You're dealing with it even on a worse scale, because like, you kind of are building towards something really big, and it's in front of the fucking whole world.
Yeah.
So you have this like, this connection with all these girls. You don't want to do them wrong, but you know what I mean? It's such an interesting, it really is interesting. I haven't really, cause I haven't really thought about it much being the Bachelor, and like, it's really mentally and emotionally probably confusing and taxing.
I'm sort of laughing right now though, because like you said it, I mean, I stayed in my room on Saturday nights watching your documentary of you party. Like we couldn't be opposite, but yet still like that's what I really resonated with you on a lot of things you're saying. It's like, cause like we don't share the same lifestyle. Yeah. But like deep down to like the core of it, like we have the same perspective on a lot of different things. And I think that really hit me like this year was just like, I used to write people off or like judge people. And now I'm like looking at myself like, man, I was an asshole. But I realized that
happened to me.
I was like, cause I even lost myself when I was in the league. And I talked about this on the show is I used to like go to the locker room and have pictures. This is crazy. I used to have pictures of literally boobs from the internet.
That's so fucking
just
funny.
Just to show my teammates, because that was something they did. They were just like, yo, look at this chick. And I'm like, yeah, look at this one. Like just to fit in, just to feel like a part of the team.
That's normal though. You know, like you're just
right.
That's normal.
But now I'm looking at myself like, man, I was a pathetic dude. Like, you're like, what
dude, like even back to what you said about judging, like, holy fuck, man. I judged every situation. Yeah. I judged everybody in every situation all the time in my head. And I never even realized it. And they're gonna laugh because I talk about this book in every single episode. This book, it should sponsor the whole podcast. You might have read it because you feel like I've read. Have you read The 7 Laws?
Yeah. So that's
Thank God someone fucking goddamn came on and read it.
I don't read it ever. Like you said, you read it.
Fucking
all the
revisit
time.
it and text me and be like, you're right. All right. Because it's just like there's one in there that talks about just and it opened I was like, oh my God, bro. Even just like music and like other people's perspective, I judged everything. Yeah. And once if you can, I wake up every day, I'm like, today I'm not going to judge anything. I'm not going to judge anyone or anything. Yeah. And it really, bro, it changed my perspective so much. And it changed how I look back at my life in hindsight. I'm like, oh, wow. You know, like, I'm so grateful I made it here because I had such a small scope on things. Very, very small scope. My own bubble, my very ego-filled bubble of being a student athlete. Yep. Privileged, white kid. Like, dude, I'm a very middle-class, blue-collar family, but like, that's still very much privileged just being in America and having the opportunities I've had, Yep. But never even had any perspective on that. Never looked at myself, and it's just like, it's so crazy as you get older. Really, we talk about this a bunch, but like, I say older, but age means shit to me. It's experience. Yep. Like you just aged so much, and I say age in a non-negative way. Mm-hmm. Like people, I think like culture's constructs of age is all wrong. It's all wrong. Personally, I think think about it, right? Like the societal constructs of it, like, oh man, you're 25, you gotta settle down and like, what's your career path here? Are you going to start a family? All these like girls are like, oh, 25. I need to have kids. Like it's all these things, right? But it's like as time evolves, the generations are different, right? Yeah. Now, like I feel like more than ever, you need to use these times to explore and find yourself. Yep. There's so much more opportunity than our parents had. Yeah. Like there's just so much. You can go, there's just so many things. There's so many people to get connected with. There's so many options. Yeah. My parents grew up, they never fucking left Cranston, fucking Rhode Island.
That's how my whole family's in Washington, Illinois. Like they're in a small town.
Yeah. And it's just like
an opportunity.
They don't even fucking know, and it's just like their life. And that's just time too. It's the generations and times change, but it's crazy to think about. Yeah. It really is. Yeah. It's wild.
No. And like that's one thing, even like this year, two things.
You've experienced so much.
I've experienced so much. I hate labels now. Cause like, even for me, everybody's like Colton the Bachelor. And I'm like, no. Yeah. I was like, or Colton the football player. It's like, no, like, why do I have to be something? Why does everybody have to be something? Like, let's stop telling people what they are and who they are and what they should do. Cause like, even now it's like, I meet with agents and managers and like, oh, you're a host. Oh, you're this. It's like, why can't I just like walk into a room and like just talk to people as a human and see what they want to do? Like, and I used to hate when people ask me like, so what's next? It's like, what are you doing now? It's like, I don't know. Like I to be honest with you, I have no clue what I'm doing. I mean, I could tell you what I like and what my interests are. And I hope one day, like it could lead to be successful, but I don't know right now.
Right. I have a completely changed view on goals.
Yeah.
And when you say what's next,
Yeah.
I don't believe in them at all. Really, I don't. I think I write down my goals.
Yep.
So that's not true to say I don't believe in them at all. But on a day-to-day basis, I try to break it down to today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to try to I know for a fact I'm going to take a step forward. Mm-hmm. And my step forward might be different than the way I used to think step forward. Some days I need to go to Malibu and just fucking chill with my guys and just relax.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, I'm still going to meditate. I'm still going to get my workout in. I'm still going to do, and I've simpled it down to literally taking a daily step forward. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? No matter what, if you're moving forward, you're going to be able to sleep that night and be like, I took a step forward today. Yeah. You know, I'm proud of the decisions I made or whatever. And sometimes you're not going to be, you know, but like, it's because you're talking to someone who I have this perspective, but I see partying as an unlock for me personally.
Right.
It's an unlock to experience. It's an unlock to creativity. And then more than anything, it's an unlock to scenarios. I find myself in these scenarios and it comes through in my music. It comes through in my conversation.
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, I'll get fucked up. But I'm also like, personally, I feel like I'm like kind of built for it. Like alcohol doesn't really fuck me up. People are like, how you stay in shape? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? But I think personally, I feel like I've found my purpose and partying is a role in it in some capacities.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see, like, as you age, you go through these experiences. I mean, I value experience more than anything, bro. Like,
Absolutely.
I don't spend money, like, we got a house and shit, but like, I spend all my money on experience, convenience and experience.
Yep.
I bring all my guys everywhere. They all need to experience it too. So we can all
start valuing things different.
Oh yeah.
Like I value time, like now, time over anything. Like even Cass and I, like we'll get asked to do something on the East Coast. I'm like, all right, but that takes us 3 days. Like that's taking 3 days out of our life. Like what can we do out here for 3 days?
Right.
Like is this worth it? Like you start really breaking it down to being like, okay, like is this worth our time to go out there?
Interesting.
But to go back to your point real quick, like I was having a conversation with my therapist about this and I said, or she told me, she said, but Colton, some days your bests are different. He's like, all of your bests are different for every day. So like maybe my best for today is going to the kitchen and making a sandwich and going back and taking my ass to bed.
Your girl fall a little bit more in love with you, doing something.
Your best, like as long as you know, like when you try that day.
Right.
Like just go try.
It's the intentions, man.
Right.
It's the intentions.
And then maybe like the next day you go crush it. You have 6 meetings and you bang out, like emails all day and you have random things to do and you get them done.
Right.
But like every day is different.
So where are you now personally headspace wise? How do you feel?
I'm still working on myself. I still see, I've talked about it probably more than I should, but I see my therapist regularly. But I think that's more,
nothing wrong with that.
Dude, I'm becoming more self-aware and like, it's actually helping me fix myself too, which is cool because
no one else can fix you.
Right.
The therapist isn't fixing you. She's giving you
the
avenue to walk down to fix it.
So I'm doing really well. I mean, and even like Cass and I, so feelings are hard to talk about. And I'm sure like for me, even on the show, it's like now I'm really sitting with my relationship with Cass. And not only that, but like my relationship with my parents, my friends, and sort of my career.
Right.
I'm like, okay, how does this make me feel?
Right.
Like I literally will say out loud, it's like, how do I feel right now?
You got to go read the 7 Laws again.
No.
When did you read it? How long ago?
2014.
Yeah.
So it's a while
ago.
Read it
again.
Okay.
Because you're just going to be like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
That's why I read it so much. Because like, I'll have something happen last week and be like, wow, I reacted wrong, or here, and it's just like everything you're saying is aligned with it.
Really?
But it will especially that's why I asked about your headspace now. It's just a perfect little
help.
It's just a perfect thing to like keep you right in that avenue you need to walk, to get to where you want to get.
Yeah.
Let's dive a little bit back into the dynamics of being the fucking bachelor for a second.
Yes.
We talked about this outside a little bit. So it didn't cross my fucking mind like the actual timetables of this, right? You're the bachelor.
Yeah.
You go through this entire thing. How long until the season airs?
It's like we wrapped the week of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And then you come in and it airs, mine aired January 7th.
Okay.
So,
okay. So now you're in this relationship with Cassie.
Right. And it's a 12 a 12-week show.
12 weeks of fucking torture.
So by the time finale, by the time finale hits, you're 4.5 months into this relationship. And meanwhile, like the show does a good job. You've got happy couple weekends, like they bring you out. But I was out in LA. Like I had my place out here that nobody knew about. And she's from Huntington. So like I was driving down, like I was seeing her on, it was like she was my number one priority. Like I had nothing else. So like, and at times I'm like, am I being too much? You know, like am I like too much for her right now?
Right,
like, too much for her family.
This is after
after filming and taping, because like part of it was like I need to give her space.
So what the fuck was the dynamic now? I know
she broke up with me. I know you. I don't know if you didn't watch most of the show. So she ended up breaking up with me on the show, and ending things. And she ended things, and I
wait. So
here's the thing. Yeah. So we got to Fantasy Suite. So it's Fantasy Suite week. You have 3 girls, and you take them, and they take you. We were in Portugal for that week. And you spend overnights with them. No mics, no cameras. Like you could just be straight real.
Wow.
So then I had my first week. I was with Tasha, and we went in the Fantasy Suite. I didn't sleep, bro. I kid you not. I wore this is nothing against her. I wore a sweatshirt and sweatpants to bed. I didn't sleep, bro. I kid you not. I couldn't. But here's like I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop thinking of Cass.
There you go.
And I'm sitting here in my head feeling like at this point I felt like I was cheating on her.
Wow.
Like it was.
And she had broken up with you.
The next week was Cassie's Fantasy Suite. So I'm like all excited for this one. Like this is my girl, right? So like I go to that date. We had an awesome day. We get to the dinner. As soon as she showed up to dinner, she was wearing, I'll never forget this. She was wearing a really heavy like silver dress. Heavy, I mean like it was like metal or something, and like because it kept falling and her boob kept popping out. But like as she's breaking up with me, like her dress is coming up.
So she broke up with you there
at dinner. We went through the whole day, and then at dinner she broke up with me. And like I like look around and I'm like, this is really happening. Like that, and that's where like you asked, it's like, man, is it real? I'm like, yeah. Like at that point, like I know you don't watch, but like we ended up breaking up. She broke up with me. I put her in the car. I went up. I grabbed my wallet from the tree house because it was a sick ass like 3-bedroom, really cool area. And
where were you?
I left in Portugal in the middle of nowhere. And I grabbed my wallet, threw it in my back pocket, took my mic off. I jumped over.
This is when you jumped the fence?
I jumped the fence. And
I saw on your Twitter you kept talking about the fence.
So I was gone.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm out.
You just wanted to get away from production.
Well, I just wanted to be by myself because when you're on that show, you never get to sit and really process something.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I just lost a girl who like I thought was going to be it at the end, and like now I don't have her. So like this sort of.
So in your head, you're like, no one there really like you cared about. Well, not that you didn't care about, but like that was.
It wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get to the end and not have Cass by my side.
Right.
Like she was just to me, she was like
So when she breaks up with you, she's like, I'm out of here. She's dipping.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So.
I love this.
So here, like basically what happened.
Great fucking TV,
dude. Yeah, I know, right? But basically what happened at dinner. Is I was just like, I'm done being the Bachelor. Like it's you. Like I know we have 3 more weeks of this to film, like this TV show. But like I was like looking around. I had 4 or 5 cameras on me.
Right.
I'm like looking around, being like, it's her. Like you guys could do what you want to do. Like, and like she's sitting here like, what do you mean? Like, because this is the first time she's hearing it. Because like as a Bachelor, I can't really you can't really get into
cards,
it. Yeah, because then she's gonna go back.
Just to clarify, this is before she broke up with you, or
during the breakup? Because like at this point, I'm like, I have nothing to lose besides the girl that I want to be with. So like I was like, screw it, I'm telling everything. Like I'm not doing things or saying things to be the Bachelor anymore. Like I want you, so I'm gonna fight for it.
Right.
And I sort of just like told her and unloaded everything on her, and you could tell she was like floored. She was like, I wasn't expecting that. So then I could tell, like I was getting a sense, the only reason, because like then I went back for her, because I was getting a sense during the breakup, like she was more breaking up for me because she was like, one, she didn't want to get engaged. I don't blame her because we didn't have the time that we thought we were going to have.
Right.
But then 2, she was just like, thought I might be into somebody else. And I don't know if somebody told her that or like what was going on. I don't know who to trust at that point. So like,
do you think she was slightly getting cold feet about it, being that like she's getting real feelings and like it's the end of the Bachelor, like you know what I mean? Like how close to the end were you?
2 weeks and we were done.
2 weeks.
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
So
Interesting.
So it's like it was an interesting dynamic, and then so she broke up with me. We were good, but like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm done with this show. I'll just go back to Huntington and just be like, knock on her door and be like, yo, like let's just try this thing outside of this. So that was my game plan. But then selfishly, I was like realizing I'm doing this very selfishly. Like there's 2 other girls here. I at least owe them the respect of being like, yo, I'm in love with Cass. Like it's not you. I'm sorry. So like the next day I went and broke up with those 2. And then they ended up filming the whole thing. And I went back and got Cass. I was like, I broke up with the other 2 women. Like I didn't want to talk to you until I actually did something to prove that it's you. Like I'm not just going to talk out of the side of my mouth. Like, so I went and.
Well played, sir.
Yeah. So, and we ended up just dating.
Of course you're dating her right now. How the fuck could she say no? Crazy.
So yeah.
So that was actually part of the show.
Yeah. And they filmed everything.
Fuck. Yeah. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. So it changed. It was sort of the Bachelor.
Kind of a different ending.
Yeah. So the Bachelor is typically like this fairy tale proposal.
My fucking rose.
Yeah, and I had to do that at the live finale for like 5 months later.
Really?
Yeah, because I never gave out a final rose. Yeah, because I just ended it.
We need the rose.
I just ended it like that.
Yeah.
But dude, there was 3 different parts. There's filming of the show. There's watching the show back, and then there's the post show.
That's what we're gonna get into.
So watching the show back.
Yeah. So I want to get into this a little bit for you fuckers at home. It's mainly guys watching this, right? I think what's our dynamic? Like 70. So this guy. You're dating the girl. You go through that whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
And then there's this huge, dramatic, long 12. How many? 12
episodes.
12 episodes.
Yeah, 12.
So, yeah. That's like 3, probably more, including like all the promo and shit. You're sitting there, you're dating her for 5 months, 6 months.
Yeah.
We all know, anyone who's been in a relationship, these are very interesting times. You know, like you're getting acquainted with each other, really, genuinely. Like it takes years. But like these are the there's just like it can go any which way. You know what I mean? At this early in getting to know somebody.
Yep.
So you're sitting there, you're with her and her family sometimes watching the show?
On some Mondays, I drove down to Huntington and watched with her family.
Did you regret that when you got there and like what the fuck am I doing here?
Here was my thing. Like I just wanted to go like be straightforward with it. Like, I know this is going to be awkward. I know you're going to see me in the media talking about other girls. It's like, why not just sit next to you? And if you guys, I even told him, like, before we even started, I said, if you guys have any questions,
this is hilarious.
Just ask me. Like, I'll be an open book to you. Like, I'll let you know. And even like one night, Cass got mad at me because she's like, were you really into her? I was like, yeah. Like, what? I'm not going to start my relationship off with you and lie to you. So, like, if you're gonna ask, like, if you're gonna ask me,
this guy's a fucking saint.
But you know, then I looked at her. I was like, "What? You didn't want to hear that?" And she's like, "No, I wanted you to tell me you weren't." I was like, "I'm not going to lie." I feel that.
That's a little bit of a roll of the dice, but I respect it.
Well, yeah, I know, right? But I did the same thing with the family. I was just like, "Hey, let's just watch." And if you guys have questions, ask me.
That's how you handle it, man. If you really fucking, you know.
But that's the interesting part. For me, it was hard because you're starting this relationship. You're still getting to know the family, still getting to know her friends.
Right.
And we all have to be secretive because the public can't know, like, it's Cass.
How challenging was that?
It was hard. I wore hats and hoodies and drove a rental car. I rented a car. I didn't even drive mine. I drove a rental car into her garage and then walked through her house. Like, I was very paranoid because, like, that's the number one thing. Yeah, if you get caught out in public, if you get caught, like, one paparazzi.
What happens?
It's big. Like, you get in trouble.
You're fucked.
Yeah, it's like that's the number one violation in any contract with ABC with that. Yeah. They don't play games with that one. So like I was very, very careful when it came to that. And some people knew I was doing it, some people didn't, but it was important to me to spend that time with her though.
Right.
Like I wanted to spend that time.
Because it's just not about the show at that point anymore. Like, but it's also your life. You're not trying to fuck it up. You know, and make bad decisions.
So yeah, I'm watching back. I'm watching me make out with.
You're with your dad and shit
every week. Yeah.
How's your dad? Is he a cool guy?
Yeah, he's a good dude. Her whole family is awesome.
I follow you guys on it. I follow you on Instagram. Yeah. You guys seem like you got a great little vibe.
Yeah. So she's very simple. Like that, and that's like for me too. Like she appreciates the simple things, like walking on the beach at night.
She has like simple friends.
Sounds
corny.
Over here. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say
we don't have many simple girls over here. I'm yearning for one.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm distracted.
Are you asking for the second? So you want some of the girls from my season?
Yeah,
what you're saying?
Fuck it, I'll take some. Let me know.
I'm sure some of them will listen.
I'll take a trickle down from The Bachelor.
Here we go. They're already screened.
I need some
and
trickle
everything.
down, man. These guys get all the trickle down. I need some trickle down. What else did I want to talk about Bachelor before we take a little pee break? How are we doing on time?
Hour 4.
Oh, we're cruising. We're rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Do you have things to do? You want to? Can we talk a little bit more?
Yeah, I'm good.
We're gonna take a pee break, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the Bachelor and shit. And then I want to dive in a little bit about just some random shit.
I got you.
All right.
I got you.
All right.
We'll be right back with You Never Know, You Know What I Mean, right after this urination break.
We're doing our first ever annual curl off. Every year you have to come back and do a curl off. Ready?
Okay, here we go.
I'm gonna stop at 69 because I can't go past it. Here we go. Ready?
Yep.
Tired already. 20. 2, 3, 4. 31. Fuck, I don't know if I'm gonna make it 69. 4. 50.
You got 100 in you?
No, hell.
That's halfway. 60.
9, 70. Are we going? I don't know if I can.
Just go to 100. Come on. 80.
About my mom back home. We at 90?
90. You got 10 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I'm like 5 behind you.
10. That's 100. Shoulder press.
Fucking Christ.
There we go.
I think we might have to fucking end.
Good thing I wore black. I'm sweating my balls off.
I don't even know if I can fucking. I honestly think my right arm's. I'm gonna be like Quagmire, that episode where he discovers internet porn and just.
Hey, you want to know? So when I was in San Diego, we used to do something every Friday called Armageddon. Eric Weddle.
Yeah, I see your workouts. You
Eric
fucking kick my
Weddle,
ass.
now the safety for the Rams out here. He used to lead it.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy dude, one of the craziest dudes I've ever met.
Eric Weddle?
with work ethic.
Yeah.
The hardest worker.
I mean, those fucking white guys that, like, not even to generalize or stereotype it at all, the white guys that, like, have the long, those are the tapped motherfuckers. Because they're just, like, they're always a little small. I mean, I'm blanketing it. But, like, Eric Weddle's a perfect example. The Danny Amendolas, like, those guys. You know what I mean? They're just, like, fucking spark plug motherfuckers.
Dude, the dude would just sit in the sauna and be like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm just seeing how long I can sit in here until I pass out." I'm like, "You're crazy." I was like, "You're crazy."
The mental game.
But good for you. Yeah.
The mental game. I'm sweating. I don't even know if I can recover from that. Fuck.
Good for the forearms.
Are you doing shit in the fitness space?
I mean, so I've been working with a company called Muscle Farm, and I'm doing a natural series with them. So it's an all organic Muscle Farm. Oh,
Is that Joe Rogan? If it's Joe, it's fine.
So I've just been doing, like, as far as that, I just work out there and then I moved to all organic, and then
Organic. You're only eating organic food.
only organic food, and then actually these last 2 weeks I went meatless just to try it. Like, I just want to try, like,
Meatless, being red meat or
like chicken. No chicken. Like, everything is meatless.
Fish.
So pescatarian.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I love fish.
I love my salmon.
Yeah,
I love
me
salmon,
too,
cod,
me
like
too.
all the white fish.
Do you eat like
halibut.
are you a tuna guy? Are you like a sushi guy?
Yeah, love sushi. So I was just talking.
We gotta go.
Yeah.
We gotta go.
I live off Ventura. So Crave.
You live close.
Yeah. So Crave Sushi is the one I go to, and then I hit Nobu in Malibu.
You gotta come. Yeah, Nobu's great.
But you have a joint that you said
You
right
gotta
here.
come over here, man.
Okay.
So like this little Studio City area, the original Katsuya, the first one ever. which they haven't renovated. So it's just like this little spot, but it's the fucking vibe. It's like the original chefs passed down type shit.
I'm in. Let me know next time.
We should go ASAP. And then there's a few others I'll show you.
Cool.
Aroha, you need to know. It's a great little date spot. Like they're in the cut and they're not like, you know what's whack is like, it's LA, right? Like obviously it's a very, I would say, late night leaning area in the sense of creatives. There's a lot of creatives here. You know, they're not working on a 9-to-5 schedule. Yeah. There's no fucking goddamn shit. There's nothing dope open after 10 p.m. over here.
Here's the thing I love. Like I just started like realizing this. It's like when you can make your own schedule. Like I start eating dinner now at 7:30, 8 o'clock. When I was in Illinois, where dinner was at 5:30 every night.
So
right?
funny.
And you're in bed. But like now sometimes I don't even go to dinner till 9:30.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, I'm like, what am I like? What is life?
You're talking to a guy who has like, I've just grown. So like, I think over time,
I was listening to your podcast. So, cause you were like, I was listening to this last week's and you were like, I get up like maybe like 11, 12. I'm like, dude, I remember when for me sleeping in right now to like 10 is a big deal. Cause like I used to get up at 6 a.m.
I was in here till 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but
like,
that's your creative, like you're more creative
like,
at night.
Yeah. Like, music's kind of it's become a lot more of an anytime thing for me. Now, I've actually grown to love not having a schedule. And let me explain. Essentially, I'm a big believer in like the flow and law of least effort. And like, these are all the things from the 7 laws. But like, yes, you can achieve things by working your absolute balls off, and you can fucking go. Like if you have this goal and you wake up and just work your ass off every day to go get it, yes, you could achieve it. But there's also costs to that. Like there's a lack of balance in your life, and a lot of times it breeds a lack of balance, and it breeds a certain one-dimensionalness to your lifestyle. You know what I mean? In the sense of like you were saying, like I didn't even do shit. Like it was about football, and it was about getting what I needed to get done in school so that I could play football. And now I needed that for a long time, that regimen, you know, and now I realized like I would be pissed. Like I'd walk by, I'd be like, I haven't been in the studio today. What the fuck am I doing? I got a studio in my house. Like that's unacceptable. But you kind of realize it's also the game I'm in. It's a creative game. You can't be creative all the time. Like you can't put a timetable. Be like, I'm gonna be creative at 3 days. That's why I have like, dude. Sorry, I have a dip and I'm a sicko. I can't. What the fuck was I just saying? I had a point.
You couldn't be creative.
Yeah. Being like, I used to, I'd be like judging myself that I had a studio in my house and I didn't fucking work for 2 days, you know? Yeah. And that went on for a while I lived here.
So here's my thing. What if the next day you wrote about what happened in those 2 days?
Dude, that's you literally stepped on what I was going to say. Yeah. It's exactly what I started to realize is like, even when I'm not working, I'm like every single experience I have is feeding this. Sometimes I come in here and make 5 songs in 5 hours. It just happens, you know, all these ideas, but everything, at least I write all my own music. So it's like, it's all coming from the place of experience. And if you don't have experience and I'm in here just working out, staying healthy, and then going into the studio and writing songs, like I might write a song every day, but they're not going to be what I want them to be. Yeah. They're not going to have the experiences to tell, you know? So that's kind of what I've accepted the lack of regimen as being in the state of flow. I let like my intuition tell me when to come in here, you know? Normally I'm in here every day at some point, one or another, but I stopped putting like I have no emphasis on the actual time of day or I don't even know what day it is, right? What day is it? I really don't know. What is it? Monday, yeah. I know that now. The podcast gives me a little bit more regimen because I have like schedules and guys coming, but really genuinely. And I've learned to like accept it and love it. Before I used to judge it and judge myself, be like, fucking Monday, you haven't done shit, you know what I mean? But it's just not, I'm in a different game. You know, I'm not waking up and I don't have these set agendas, but you know, there's still a certain way of getting to the finish line. I think that goes for everybody, you know, like everybody has their own state of flow. Yeah. For you, it might be, I got to get up, I got to do this.
I got to that point though too, like going off what you just said, like the only reason right now I know it's Monday is because I got a flight out to New York tomorrow on Tuesday. So like, like that part of structure, but I got to a point. Even my dad was like, "Man, every day's Friday for you." I was like, "Damn right." Like,
well, it's a blessing.
It is.
It's a blessing, and if you can get there and accept that, like, it is a blessing to have the opportunity to not live on. Because as much as you love a schedule, what's so great about it? You know what I mean? Like
my time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's very, very hard to get to in life. Get to a place where you're just like, I'm doing what the fuck I want.
Because so Cass and I, like, I still struggle with anxiety sometimes. Because Cass and I get so anxious about things. We're like, because she's a lot like me in the fact where like we have to be doing something, and if we're not, something's wrong. Like what am I missing out? Like
she's a student, right? She's in school.
Yeah, so she's in grad school for speech pathology, which like I'm so like proud of her for that because. Right. You have all these shiny objects over here, and she's still locked into her master's program and really still cool. Like the longevity of it all. So it's like good for her. But we like get anxious. Yeah. We're like, okay, but we could be doing more. And it's like, no, like just enjoy the now.
Yeah.
Like the more will come. Like let's just enjoy waking up and having a cup of coffee and just watching a Netflix show. Like
there's so much, like I've really just gotten into this space of like, trying to understand.
I like literally just now found myself.
I'm gonna start texting you some shit I'm reading because I think like
I'm gonna go pick up that book though. Yeah, and then I'm gonna text you when I start reading.
Just read it, like dude. Just read it and like just digest. Don't like try to race through. It's a small, short book. Just like maybe take one day for one law and just be like digest it and think about it the whole. Like that's a really. I've read it like 10 times. I'm still reading it. Yeah, I read it. I mean, I read like this dude Naval on the. Did you watch Joe Rogan at all? You should. But he has some amazing guests. Some of them, you know, like there's a lot in the MMA and the comedy space, but there's, you know, people I've grown to see that anyone who's successful, and that's kind of what this is about. Yeah. Anyone who's successful is going to sit right here. Everyone has like a story that like, and if you really think about it, like I've had 15 guests or so, like some of them aren't out yet, but like there's so many alignments in the journey of success. Yeah, there's so many alignments. There's actually a book, Think and Grow Rich, which you should definitely read as well. But like, that's literally what the book is. So the premise is the entire thesis of it is, in the 1920s, one of the richest guys in the world, Andrew Carnegie, hired this guy, Napoleon Hill. Yep. And he said, "I'm gonna plug you with every single and there was no billionaires at that time, but every multimillionaire in my network. I want you to go study them, study how they think, how they do business." How they operate, and overall their ideologies on life, right? The psychology of being successful. And he wrote a whole book on it called Think and Grow Rich, and studied like countless, I want to say like 50 different people in this network. But the catch is this: the dude was the richest guy in the world, and he said, "I'm not paying you. I'm not paying you for this. And if you want it, and if that's a deciding factor for you to not do it, you're not the right guy for the job." So he thought about it, he did it, didn't ask for pay. Ended up making $100 million. The book's still on the bestseller list 100 years later for this exact task. Right. And that's kind of what it kind of gave me the idea for this. Like I want to put a bunch of successful people in all different spheres. What's their story? What are the similarities? You know, like, and I see the alignments clear as day. You know, there's always turmoil. Struggle is part of being human. And it's about the people who can find themselves when it's really, really hard. It's not hard to like find yourself and enjoy life when everything's peachy. You know what I mean? It's really like
picking yourself up when you're the only person to pick yourself.
My next thing, like if you think about all my album titles, Closer, right? These days, what you just say, the now. Yeah. Like understanding that the now, these days are the glory days. Like it's never gonna be the future. Always like you have this goal of the future, but it's really not. It's not real. Something you're making up in your head. You're actually making it now in these days. Right. You're creating your future by how you handle these days. Right. You know? And now the next thing is keep going. That's my next album.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, because you said you had a public relationship. Yeah. And not to get too much into your business. If you don't want to share, you don't have to.
Hey, we're sitting in the chair.
Yeah. So then did you feel pressure from the outside? Like when people would comment on things, or did you guys how did you guys deal with the pressure? How did you guys deal with certain comments and certain people being up in your business?
Yeah. To be completely honest, like it's a little different because we were both in the public sphere individually. Like you kind of came into it and then like right out of it, you're kind of a thing. Yep. You know? Yep. So we both kind of in the headspace of like, it doesn't matter what these people think. You know, do I regret being so public? Probably, only because I mean, as much as I'm an open book and I like to, I just think there's definitely pressures that human beings aren't meant to be like held under a microscope by other human beings. This is a man-made construct. If you think about what fame is, humans weren't made to be like idolized by their peers. Like we're all one, you know what I mean? So when you're under a microscope and then you're also in these pressure situations, like actually in your life with your girlfriend, you're going through it. I found myself like, oh man, now like the people, like the breakup's gonna be public now, and like this is embarrassing. Like my ego of like, you know, like just knowing what people would say and think, and like really like I'm so thankful for how the breakup happened. Like it was a cordial thing, you know, but it was more so like the fact that it was public. I'm actually thankful for in hindsight, because it made me arrive here where I was like, okay, what is important to me, you know? And I really went down this path of like mental, you know, finding out who I am as a person, what's really important, what's like life. Because like I said, I had a very fast transition into this like very fast-paced life. Mm-hmm. And then right into the fast-paced life, right into this first serious relationship publicly. So it was kind of like, all right, who am I? You know, like I haven't really even like thought about it, you know, and I don't know if it would have happened and been so successful of a dive in on myself. Like I had a very successful, as much as it was hard. It was probably like one of the hardest things I've gone through, because I just never had done it. I was like in no man's land.
It's interesting though, because you both had your own thing. You both had your own fan bases.
Right.
Then they came together.
Right.
And then I'm sure you had like fan accounts and people like making your guys' couple and making your life even more public.
For sure. I mean, I think your scenario is probably your scenario is way more mainstream. Like there's just so many
what
more
I'm known for. Yeah. Like I'll fully admit, like The Bachelor put me on the map. Like that's the show did that. Mm-hmm. And in a sense, it almost put this pressure of like, okay, why do I have to keep being The Bachelor? Mm-hmm. Like now Cass and I are finally getting to a point where like we can pick and choose what we want to share. Right. And it's human. Like the other day we got in a fight. Like like I'm sure like that even right there, people are like, what, Cass and Colt got in a fight? Yeah. But it's like we're human. We're a couple. Like it's okay. Like people need to understand. Like it's okay if we disagree on something or like if we do get in a fight.
It is. You're very it's very true though. It's very very hard to like conceptualize.
But that's social media. See, social media has fucked people up. Because even I'm guilty of it too. You're like, yeah, I see what you post. But I'm like, yeah, sometimes you see what I post, but like sometimes I'm covering some shit up.
Oh yeah.
Like sure. I post things to like make it seem like everything's okay.
Well, you're also like posting things like you find yourself like a lot of the things like I sometimes I worry I'm coming off a little preachy, but I'm really preaching to myself.
See?
Yeah, I'm just trying to like because I know many people are going through like probably way harder shit than I am. Yeah. You know? So if I could be the guy who sheds a little positive light in the right direction for them. Yep. That's kind of my angle on it now. I've grown to like actually appreciate social media because I got a hold on it. You know, like I really like through this I've realized like what I want to be. Yep. Who do I want to? You know, I'm very open. Like I have the party side. I'm very open in that show, and I have the side that's intellectual and trying to grow and shed positivity. And I'm open with that too, and it's given me a lot of like a second wind on social media, if I should say, because I was kind of fading off. I was like, this is cheesy, you know. Like I'm a grown ass man. I'm not trying to talk to my phone and be like, hey, come fucking see me at the expo next. Like you know what I mean? Like it's just like. So my point is like, as much as I'm there's it's kind of like my world view on things. Like there's a pro and a con to everything. But if you can get yourself to understand, like you said, that like life is life. There's things out of our control. But if you can take every single thing, good or bad, and say it's feeding me, and I'm going to believe that it's feeding me, and I'm just going to listen to the intuition of what, like I've said this a bunch, and I think you'd be the guy that connects with maybe the most. Like I have this, Wayne Dyer said this thing about God, and he was just like, prayer is us talking to God, and intuition is God talking back.
100%.
So it's like these feelings you get, and like, yeah, you might be turned off by this, or you might wish it was different, or you wish it wasn't public or on social media. Like I'm actually really, in hindsight, thankful it was all in the public sphere. Like it made me have a much bigger understanding, and it also pushed me down this avenue that I'm so thankful I went down. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yep.
100%. That was a long-winded answer to it, but yeah.
No, and that's so like one of my buddies. He told me before I went on all this, he goes, let this enhance your life. Don't let it change your life.
Exactly.
So like I repeat that. I say it again, like every situation I'm in now, It's like, okay, I'm going to let this enhance it. This isn't going to define me. This isn't going to be my thing. Like, that's why even like now it's a hard pill to swallow. It's like, you were the Bachelor. I was like, all right, but let's try to remove that label. And like, there's no diss to the franchise, no diss to like where, but like you guys last week you asked a question. It might've been last week. Or was it a week before? You asked a question. You said, life is a blank. And like, for me, like, to me, life is a book. I have so many different chapters and it's so dynamic and I'm having fun. Like, to be honest with you, I feel like I'm on like chapter 3.
Yeah. That's
like,
how I feel.
I'm just getting like,
that's how I feel too.
like, I don't know what I'm doing next.
Like,
I couldn't tell you what's going to happen in the next chapter, but it's going to be cool. And I'm like, want people to be there with me.
You never know.
Yeah. Right.
Like, why? That's the fun part about life.
Yeah.
That's why you never know it's so big because dude, nobody knows. And even the people that think they know, nobody knows what's next. We have our face, we have our beliefs. Nobody knows.
Right.
Dog, you could walk out here and fuck it. Like, I saw a video today. It was funny. Yesterday, I saw a video completely like, just like on one of these stupid accounts. And it shows this guy walking down the street and they're walking, he's talking to his wife, I think. And then the fucking tire like spins off the highway. Like you could see the tire, like something coming, and it's coming at like 100 miles per hour. It just comes and fucking destroys the guy, knocks him right out of the picture. Probably killed him, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to see that. But then I was like, holy shit, bro. Like that's literally life in a nutshell. Like you can't forecast any of this shit. Like you can, oh man, my next year, I'm so worried. What's next for the back? Like I don't want to be the bad. I want the dog. You can walk outside and some fucking shit. Like who knows, you know? Right. And that's given me a lot of clarity of being in the moment. Yeah. You know, like if you can really be like, dude, nothing is like, I could wake up tomorrow and be sick and go to the doctor and be like, I mean, you're terminally ill. Who knows? Yeah. I had James Conner on here, who's fucking just woke up, like already in the trenches, tore his ACL, wakes up and he's like, oh no, you have fucking stage whatever, lymphoma. Like you have cancer. Like you could die, you know? So it's like, it really is like if you can kind of, this is why I do all this, like trying to basically bang it home to people like, dude, you don't know. You know, you have to live in these days. You have to live in these moments. And listen, the bigger key, like really, I think it might help given where you are and like what's, you know, the bigger key is that like, you never like, that's the best way of articulating this. The biggest key is that you can't, if you're in a negative vibe because of, say, the anxiety of tomorrow or the sadness of yesterday, if it's ruining your today, right? You're only impacting your future in a negative way. The vibe, the energy, the vibration you're giving off, if you're sad and in your own head and worried, instead of being in the moment and meeting new people and being, yo, I fucking like that guy. You know what I mean? Like when you walk out, like that's a good fucking dude, like good energy. I like that too, right? You're just all you're doing, bro, you're gonna like that energy, that good energy, even when it's hard to have that good energy, if you can get yourself there, your future is gonna be exponentially better. No matter what. You might not know shit, you might be uncertain or have anxiety, but if you can control your vibe in the moment and just be like, let's have this cup of coffee and fucking watch the sunset and fucking relax. We don't need to do anything else. Yeah. You know? And it's like, it really is like those vibrations carry. You wake up the next day, you're in a better mood. You might meet this guy and he's like, dude, you should be in this movie. Yeah. You should be in this fucking movie. You're perfect for this role. All of a sudden you're that. You know what I mean? Like my point is, if you're in a negative vibe, it's not gonna flow like that. Right. Like they might like you, like he's a good kid, you know, but you won't have that same aura, that positivity, you know, the shit that people want to be around. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And it really is, if you can, like, I don't know, that was long-winded as well, but like. No, it's true though. Like I want to, the athlete mentality, set myself up for success. Right. I want to be around people who make me better and hold me accountable. Right. And also are good fucking people. Right. Like I just want good energy, good people all the time. Right. Like, our world has enough negativity and enough bullshit. As you go through it, like you're in this game now, like we were talking about it, like you're like, not many people like that in LA, you know, like, and it's okay, you know, not everyone does, but I look at it like, cool, more for me, bro. That's I'll be happy. Selfishly, I'm like, I'm glad. More for me. I'll be happy and helpful and giving and because I know it will flow back to me, you know. It's karma. Yeah. Like I firmly believe in that. We'll go like it comes around. Like it's karma, gonna come back. It might take a while. It might take longer than what you think, but in a way, like that's a test and showing like it's gonna come back around. Facts. And we were literally just talking about that. Good or bad. Yep. You do something bad, like it might not even come back in that same capacity. Meaning like you're doing this to your girlfriend, or you're doing what, you know, like you're cutting corners. It might not come back in that same sphere. Like you might go on and have a great relationship or a great career, even though you're cutting corners.
Yeah.
Something in your life will go wrong.
Right.
And you won't know why.
But if you're doing things for ulterior motives and you're doing something for a return, then you're not doing like that. It turns into business.
This
like
is 7 Laws 101.
Yeah. I need to get back into it.
Because you're going to be like, wow. You're going to be like, yeah, hell yeah. You know,
it will
just.
Yeah. That's going to be good. That's going to be real good.
Let's talk about what are we, about an hour and a half? What's next? I know you hate that question, but I'm saying
I like it now. I appreciate it now.
Yeah, there you go.
I appreciate what's next now because for me, here's what I'll tell you. I like the entertainment side of things. The more that
dude, you're good at it,
dude. The more that I've been in it,
you're doing like some.
I'm doing some carpet stuff. I'm doing stuff with extra. Like that stuff's cool. I want my own show. Yeah. Like I want to do my own show, whether it's with kids. I'm working on a concept about good news, like people doing good things and going out of their way to like just be like good, because we have so much bullshit in our media.
I actually really like that. Good news.
So it's called good news only. Like that's it. It's like it's a half-hour segment of just good shit going on. Like whether a person just went and adopted a dog, whether
I would watch that.
You just have like, and I'm gonna find these people and I want to talk to them, and I just want to be like, why? It's almost like the hidden camera show where they're like, what would you do? It's like, why did you do that? So like, what led you? Like, what has been going on in your life that you said, hey, I need to go adopt a dog from here? Or like, hey, I need to go save this person. Is cool. So like for me, it's just like getting into the minds of people who are going out of their way to make the world a better place.
That's like my favorite content on Twitter. Like I go on Twitter and shit.
It's like, the viral videos. It's every viral video content that you look at.
That's what I look for. I'm like, oh man.
And we need more of it because everybody turns on the news and they're like, oh, this shit again. It's like, okay, but if we can try to get something in the mainstream media, some network to like take on a show that's just like, sit down for a half hour, turn your TV on, and just being blown away by these humans. Like let's show it off. So that's something that I'm working on.
So you prefer to do it to TV?
Yeah. I mean, I've flirted with the movie stuff. I mean,
no, I mean, you prefer to take that concept to TV versus doing it digitally.
I could do it digital too. Yeah. I mean, whether it lands on like a Quibi or a Netflix or like a Amazon, like anything like that.
If you want help producing it.
I'll talk.
We got like a whole team that can do shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends.
Right.
But like we were talking about, if you want it to be yours.
So that's like something. It's a creative. Like goes back to like, I don't want to be limited creatively by going to a production company that doesn't get it or they see it in a different way. Like I see it, and I'm not saying my way is always going to be right. No. But I'm at least want to be around people that are open to seeing things through different lenses. Right. But that's a concept that I'm working on because it's like we have so many cool, even in LA. Like I'm going to start here in LA because we have enough. We have enough here in LA. But once again, long-winded answer, but that's like a part of it. And then other things, I want to try new things. I want to keep trying new shit.
It's the best.
Like people are like, why'd you do that? I'm like, I've never done it before.
Yeah.
It's the best. It's the best. Maybe I like it. It's like
what it's all about.
I said this on The Bachelor when we were filming, and you just basically said the same thing out there. Like you go to a salad bar. I hate olives. But just because I hate olives, I ain't taking all those olives and throwing them out. Right. Because the person behind me might grab those olives. Right. I know it's a stupid analogy. Yeah. But like everybody has their own thing in life.
I get it. So and like I really stand by the ideology that like when you said earlier like I don't like labels. Like I've changed so much just in the last year. Like I don't believe in labels at all anymore. Right. Because it's just like if you get. Well, life gives you these pivots all the time. And if you take the right pivots properly, it's actually a negative thing to be the same person, be able to fit into a label that you were fit in 2 years ago or 5 or 10 years ago. It's a bad thing. You know what I mean? And that's another societal construct of like settling down and having stability. Like, fuck that shit. Yeah. Obviously, you have to live and survive and make the right decisions in order for your family or whatever. But like, what I try to urge every single kid that DMs me and I get the message back, I'm like, dude, go for it. You'll never, you know what I mean? Like you'll regret not. There's so much discontent in relationships, so much discontent, even discontent from parents to kids. I really truly believe it stems from that. It stems from the discontent of like, I didn't get to go live my life. I had you when I was 21, and I got married to her when I was 23, and we have this family, and like I have this job because I need to put food on the table for you guys, but I fucking hate it, and I want to go do this. I'm not gonna say all that. It comes out in bitterness towards your like it comes out in bitterness towards your partner, comes out in bitterness towards your kids, or even
always your loved ones,
your employees,
because you know they
people
can take
you care, and they're the ones closest to get the brunt of that.
Yeah. So one thing that I learned, and this is why I'll always go to bat for the franchise, is one problem today is we don't communicate. Yes, we talk, but we're talking about bullshit. Like I sat down, so when I filmed the show, they take my phone. I didn't have my phone for 3 months of the show. So they take everybody's phone. You don't have any distractions. You literally are just focused on the relationship. So now when I sit down,
How was that?
It was good. That's why it works. That's why
was that, though?
Is it real?
Personally, were you like fucking like, fuck,
I had an iPod.
Phone.
So they gave me an iPod Nano, and I got to preload my music on it. So I at least had like that for like flights and stuff. But any other form of entertainment, don't, like even news. Like I could read a newspaper, like if in the hotel, I could turn on a TV. But no, I couldn't talk to my family, couldn't talk to my friends. It was just me in those relationships, no distractions. But it also opened my eyes to be like, if you actually spent time to get to know people for people, instead of like
being somewhere
us sitting
else
here and being like, yo, did you see what Trump tweeted today? It's like, all right, let's talk about like right now. Like that's why I love podcasts. That's why I love doing this. You actually get to like engage and talk with somebody, and you're not talking about, hey, what'd you do last night? Like, what do you think of this? It's gossip, right? We live in a world of gossip.
You know what it is, bro? It's half-assed. It's just to move the time forward to beat the awkwardness. Like the most conversations, if you really break it down, they're just not, you never get to a full state of conversing where you're getting to know the person truly anymore.
Yeah.
Like you can't sit there for 5 minutes without the person being like, oh, cool, like scrolling through it. Like I'm guilty of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's just like you're not being present. Being present
lost.
is challenging, very challenging. I think at the core of it, I don't think human beings are necessarily meant. I think we're getting way too much data and way too much input, given what the phones have done and the internet.
We don't know how to process it, bro. We have too much.
We have too much.
We have more data than we know what to do with.
Do you meditate?
Got to. But I know you're just getting into it.
You got to. I'm just like I could tell.
I used to do yoga.
Yeah,
and I still do yoga every once in a while.
So if you do yoga, like I can't do yoga. I'm so not flexible, and I need to. I really want to.
But that's why I do it. So try to. Yeah. I do hot yoga over at like Core Power.
I might have to come with you.
I'm being serious.
I'm gonna be horseshit at it though.
Dude, it's okay.
Yeah, I'll be sweating.
There's people
off in there. I was sweating from 100 curls.
It's a bunch of moms.
There's a bunch of babes in there, huh?
There are
electric slide on some of those.
I got you.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. Meditate.
Yes.
Please try. Please just start getting into it because I know it will help you.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, like I'll leave you with this. The meditation, it stems from what we were just talking about. All the input and the data we're getting. Dude, we're getting, our brain is constantly computing everything, all the thoughts. So we have like around 50,000 thoughts a day on average. It's like having 50,000 tabs open at the end of the day in your fucking computer, because that's what it is. Your brain is a computer.
Yep.
Really. Structurally, if you break it down, like,
yeah.
So meditation is going through and Xing them out. And it takes a while. You know how long it takes to get rid of 40? So it's been 2 years, but now, bro, today I meditated before you got here, and I fucking float. I feel high. I actually laugh. I'm like, I got zero thoughts. Yeah. And that's a thought. And then I get rid of that thought. But it takes time. It's challenging. But think about it. How is it challenging to just sit in a room by yourself?
Right.
How far away have we gotten away from ourselves? We're constantly entertained by everything and everybody else. We need to be fulfilled with what's on Twitter. Did anyone like my picture? Blah, blah, blah. Where are we going? Where are we going to eat? There's no one, and that's what all these guys, these your Buddhas, or even dating as far back as that, is that the most important relationship is the one you have with yourself.
Yeah.
Your higher self.
Yep. And
meditation is that, because once you get rid of all of the fucking open tabs that you're not using.
Distractions.
It's easier to connect to it, and it's just, I know you'll be good at it. You just gotta do it. It'll be good. But it's been like life altering. All this shit.
That would be good for just a structure of a day too. Like right
really
when you wake up,
right, dude?
Because you said you don't leave your room for the first hour. You just stay in there. That would be something good.
Dude,
for
I'm
me
telling
too.
you,
It's like a morning cup of coffee and do my thing.
Like you just I don't get it. Yeah, I go out of my way to not leave my room for the first hour. And I'm guilty of looking at my phone still because a lot of times I'm waking up to a bunch. But as soon as I'm done handling what I'm handling, I'm pretty good now at not going and just surfing the internet.
Yeah.
I like to get caught. So I'll go to like Twitter and check the trends. I would like to know news. That's my news source more or less. But then I go into like, I write down the things I'm thankful for every day. And then I read them. I read them back, and then I go into like meditation. First part of meditation, I like visualize things I want. And the biggest thing is like you try to not only visualize it, but feel the feelings of being there, you know? So like whatever, and your goal my goal changes, the things I visualize change. Yeah. But it's like really one of those things where as you start to feel it, and then life starts to flow. Like I'm in that state of flow. I really am. And this podcast is an example. Like it was just like, oh, I should do that. I have this network and like it's flowing and it's happening and we're already monetized. You know, it's life starts to like show you very quickly like, hey, you're on the right path. Just keep doing it. You know? Yep. And still now I don't meditate every day, even though I definitely should. I know because I'm a huge believer in it. But like sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to do, you know, I'm already kind of moving. I'm late or something, you know? Yeah. So it's not, it's, I'll tell you this, the dude I learned it, it's called Transcendental Meditation. I went to on a retreat and learned it from a guy. It's a certain form of it. Not necessary. There's many forms of it. Yeah. But he said the number one thing to unlock your meditative state is to stop holding it at expectation. Everyone's like, man, I suck at it. I keep thinking about shit. So what? It's like this first time you swing a golf club, you suck, even though you're athletic, right? Terrible. Yeah, you're fucking like I'm not great, even though you know I'm very athletic. But if I go every fucking day, I'm gonna get better. Start hitting it straight. Yep. It's the same thing with meditation. Now I'm 2 years later and I'm doing it. Yeah. You know, but most people stop because they're like, oh, I'm not good at it. This is stupid. I'm just sitting here doing nothing. I'm wasting time. Yeah. Not, you know, it's just not how it is. Like if once you get there, you're like, fuck, this is the opposite of a waste of time. Yep. You know. Yep. We got to have you back on again. I think maybe next time come and talk just with the guys downstairs, just hang out. But I'm in. And like the fact that you're living this close, this is our first time meeting.
We're gonna have to hang.
We got to hang. Yeah, I definitely got to go work out, kick my ass.
Let's do it.
Oh wow, I love that you got this. Will you accept my motherfucking rose?
You gotta come back. Hey, hold on. You got what are these things called?
I don't know.
I love it though. This is all dressed up.
Yeah.
Yes, of course I will accept you guys as roses.
That was it. I mean, I don't really have anything planned for it. It was more of a parting gift than anything. That's a contract to come back. We'll do it again.
But hey, I'm gonna be honest with the boys right now. Cass is coming over for dinner tonight, and this is definitely going to her.
There you go.
Thank you guys.
There you go. We can cut this out if you need.
You can leave it in.
I love that. But yo, thank you so much for doing it.
I appreciate
you're exactly what I thought you were gonna be anyway.
No,
thank you. It's everybody who doesn't. I know probably some of you guys. I mean, I feel like most people, especially like just kind of the mainstream crowd of America, like they know who The Bachelor is, when The Bachelor is going on. But I think you got like the way you live your life and what you're doing online, and I think you're you're a good guy for these guys to follow too. Faith, you know, like as much as we are different in some capacities, very different. Right. There's so much alignments, and I know my fans are connected to a lot of my alignments. So Colton Underwood, what's your actual Instagram? Just
Colton Underwood.
Just all no
shout
underscore.
Shout out to ABC for getting me my
handles.
They got that
figured out.
And then Twitter is just Colton.
At Colton, which is what I need. I need the @Mike.
@Mike.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm proud to see it going well for you, and just keep rocking, bro. It's gonna be.
Too.
I saw you on the carpet, and I was like, yeah, you know, it makes sense. Dude, not to say that will be it, but I just think you're meant to be in this space. Yeah. You just gotta roll with it and rock.
Just keep your head down, baby. Keep your head down. Keep working.
Keep going, baby.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Nailed it.
Yes.